had a great off season. They look good. They've worked hard and they're hungry, and so they're ready to go out there and let's start putting it all together and start getting this thing rolling.
And Coach Frost was just saying the buy-in is there from what he's heard. The buy-in is there for the players. How much does that make your job easier, knowing that they want to make themselves better?
Well, they're sponges right now. I mean, nobody's late. Everybody's on time. Everybody's working hard and encouraging each other. It's fun to watch that come together. Obviously, we went through that at UCF and starting to see little hints of that as we go through this. But we're all really excited because these guys want to be great. And so now we got to get out there and get this thing to where we're competing against each other and put ourselves in situations where maybe some compromising positions and see how we react when it doesn't go our way.
Coach Ross was just saying, in this offense, a ton of backs can get involved, and the running back can be really featured in this offense. How excited are you to see what talent you have at your position you have?
Well, I tell you, all the running backs that we have right now, top to bottom, they've worked really hard, and they look good running around. I think we have some talent. I really do. The guys coming back. And again, I haven't watched much film from last year because that didn't affect. I don't want to have anything skewer my opinion, because I don't know what they were asked to do. So I'm giving everybody a clean slate. It's made the best man win. They got to know what they're doing. They got to execute, and they got to be a good teammate. We talk about not being selfish. So those are all things I'm looking forward to see once we start spring ball. Who can absorb it all and be able to go out there and make plays.
Trey Bryant, you obviously weren't here for the first couple of games of last season, and it's been hard for you to see him this season. Have you seen him progressing, though, in terms of his health? And he had a lot of injuries last season.
From a medical piece, I just leave that up to Mark and his staff, and he's around when he can be. I know he's rehabbing and doing what he needs to do. So when they tell me he's clear, I'll be excited to be able to go out there and see what he can do as well. But he's engaged and learning just like everybody else. He just hasn't been able to do it at the level, to where he's full speed yet.
Do you think Maurice Washington will have a role next season?
Well, he'll have a chance, I mean, we recruited him because we think he's a really dynamic player. I hate to put too much stuff on freshmen because, there's a lot that goes into it. But, I mean, talent-wise, if he learns what he's supposed to do, he'll have a chance. There's no doubt.
Coach, I know it's pretty early, but what's been the biggest maybe difference between the running backs that you had at UCF and Nebraska right now from an early standpoint?
Well, I tell you, that's a good question. Really, year one, when you look at the body types and everything, it was very similar. We had some bigger body type guys. I think this group here, we probably don't have right now the guy that's a receiving running back where you'd split him out at a receiver and do different stuff there. I think Miles Jones will give us that when he comes in, and because we have a lot of really good receivers that can fit that. So why put a running back out there if they doesn't fit, for their style? But I do like. I mean, these running backs. Strength-wise, are as strong as I've been around. So, and they're fast and they're quick. And so, I think this group here, we can be very efficient. I just have to get out there and see what they can do when there's pads going and everybody executing what they can do on the next level. I know we can get through the line, but I want to see what we can do when we get to safeties, if we can make people miss and run them over or whatever we need to do so we can get big plays. Because this offense, we want 8 yards, but we want 50 yards. So I got to find the guy that can do that.
Scott was able to bring all of his assistants from UCF. What does that say about a guy, working for a guy like that?
Let me tell you this. When I was out recruiting, there's every single place that I went to, and then even at the convention, everybody's like, you're lucky you get to work for a guy like that, because that just doesn't happen. The precedence has not been shown to do that. And hopefully he sets a trend that, one, you can stay and coach in a bowl game and still work both jobs, one. Two, bring everybody that wants to come to the next stop, so you don't have 4 or 5 guys left on the island with no job. But working for him is awesome. His culture is unbelievable for us as coaches. You're not coming in miserable. Our hours are where, when we get in, we do our deal, but we don't have to be up here till 11 o'clock at night in the off season like some places do. So he gives us time to go see our families and all that. And it's a lot of places that's a rare deal, but it makes us want to come into work more for him, harder, that he cares about us as people, not just football coaches.
That's going to help you guys hit the ground running, though. Greg Austin, Troy Walters. That's got to help production-wise and everything.
We haven't lost a beat. All we did was change addresses and put on a different polo, and now get these guys that are, get them all coached up. But yeah, I mean, it's funny. We'll like be sitting there, talking about this, and we're like, wait, we haven't even put this in yet, because we're so used to being around each other. But it's fun. I mean, we have a good chemistry and good culture. We all get along, and that's big, because I'm telling you, you can have coaching staffs that don't get along, and then people are against each other because of whatever reasons, jealousy or whatever, and that's not a good blend. But here we have a really good blend, both sides of the ball, and I'm just as much friends with the defensive guys as I am the offensive guys. Well, from a physical standpoint, obviously somebody that can really run, that's number one. Number two, who can make somebody miss in the open field, not just a straight line runner, so there's a kind of a combination of that. Three, what's their body type like? We're into recruiting smaller kids, but, what is his, upside in terms of how much weight does he have a frame you could put weight on? Because in this conference, we can have some smaller guys, but you better not have too many of them, because you don't want to be limiting yourself just from a physicality standpoint, physics standpoint, I guess. And then, obviously we'll go through or can he catch? I got to have a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield and do all that stuff too. And then obviously you peel the onion back with the coach. Is he selfish? Is he coachable? What are his grades like? Does he have a chance to be successful in college? So all those factors go into it. You look at competition too. If you recruit a kid in this school and he's going against guys that are high-level guys, and he's running away from, well, hey, this kid can really get it. There's a lot of factors go into it, but, a guy that really is smooth and natural and doesn't have to stop his feet to make a cut. He can make one cut and move and get vertical and really accelerate and all that. So that we look for all those things.
Coach, you said that there really maybe isn't a pure receiving running back right here. What's the first step in kind of teaching the guys maybe the mentality of being a receiving running back?
Well, just, based on the concept, just what are the little details of what we're trying to get done within the pass concept or whatever. Understanding defenses, is it man, is it zone, so then, that helps as well. When I say that, our guys can catch the ball and run routes. We just don't have the guy that you're going to line up in the slot and run post routes or, different intermediate routes. I mean, they can run more, shorter routes and all that right now, and then I think we can progress to keep getting better. But that duck R position, we call it, is a receiver running back, and that's kind of what Miles Jones, I think, will bring to the table. But our guys, really, just watching him run around, I think he'll be able to do some things in the pass game. We're just probably not going to split him out as much at receiver.
Hey Ryan, how you doing?
Hey Ross, good to see you.
Just kind of tell me how excited you are about spring practice. You're finally going to get to coach these guys. What's it like?
Well, it's awesome. They brought us some new gear, so I get to wear a new sweatshirt or a new shirt out there on Friday morning, and so obviously very excited. I can't wait. It's like waking up for Christmas, on Christmas Day, and just to get out there and get these guys going, learning how to practice, what our expectations are, because once you get through the first one, it'll obviously keep getting better and better and better. And your first, I think, 2 have to be in helmets, then you can go in pads, which we'll get after spring break. But yeah, I can't wait. I'm really excited.
What have you learned about these running backs since you came on board here?
I tell you, I really like the group. I do, from what I've seen. They've really worked hard in the off season. They're very, very strong. They're 600-plus pound squat kids, a lot of them. But they're there every day. They come to work every day. It's not perfect, but I do believe they're going to be. They've been sponges and want to learn. And so, they're good teammates, it seems like to me. And so far, and we'll see what we have when we get out there. But I do think there's some talent at running back here.
Jalen, Scott mentioned he's looked good just in what he's seen so far. He is kind of that player that can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Absolutely.
and make some yards. What have you seen in Jalen?
Jalen, I tell you, the thing about Jalen I like, well, he's a bigger bodied, longer kid. that's done a good job of getting stronger in the off season. But he's smooth. It's very natural. His movements aren't herky-jerky. Everything's very smooth and rhythmic, and he's a kid that can run. He looks good running out around there. I just have to get him to continue, to push himself to be the best. And so that's my job. And so I challenge him every day to put himself, to be LeBron James, to be Kobe Bryant, to be, Jerry Rice. You want to be the best running back in the country, or you just want to be a guy? And so I challenge him every day to do that.
Why do running backs excel in this offense? Tell me why that is.
Well, I think a lot of what we do is it's how we present it to the defense. One, we do so many different things to where we're reading so many different people that a team can't just hone in on one thing. One time we read this guy, one time we read this guy, then we put a formation that's a messed up formation maybe into the boundary, so then the defense has to adjust. So basically, Ross, we get guys in space because they might not adjust accordingly on defense, so we can out-leverage them, or they're a gap short because they don't know where to line up because we go so fast. And so that's why, if we get guys that can really run at my spot and all spots, but especially my spot, if we're going fast and you fit it wrong, then you don't have another guy that can be the last layer of defense because we put you in a compromising situation.
Okay, got to ask you this. You're on the practice field Friday. You're coaching football at Nebraska. Take me back 20 years ago. Did you ever think this would be the thing, and what's it going to feel like?
Well, I can tell you, I can remember being with Ron Brown in the receiver meeting, and, just sitting in there just going, this is the greatest thing ever being at Nebraska. And then when I'd run out on that field, it was the greatest thing ever. And then now to really think about Friday, I get to wear the N on the polo and go out there and coach a position of historic magnitude that has I just found this out. We have the most drafted running backs in the history of college football in the NFL. We're at 61. To coach that position at a historic place like this, I mean, I don't need any energy drinks, Ross. I don't need any coffee. I mean, I'm going to be up probably at 3 o'clock, and I'll probably be up here at 3:30 ready to go for our 6 a.m. practice.
Coach, Scott said that his style of teaching, your style of teaching, is maybe not yelling and screaming at kids and not cussing them. How do you balance being calm while teaching kids and letting them make a mistake versus maybe taking them out of games or dropping them in the depth chart? How do you balance dropping them in the depth chart versus letting them make mistakes?
Well, that's a good question. I think what we have here is a culture where, like you said, we don't cuss kids out. We want human beings don't react to when you just yell at them every day and cuss at them. We're all naturally, some people can handle that in the coaching style, but most people want to be taught. So our philosophy is, I'm going to teach you why you're not being successful. Then obviously there's other factors that go into it. Is there a physical limitation? So if it's a physical limitation, that's one thing. If it's a learning situation, then I take responsibility for that. If you're not doing it right, then either I'm not teaching you right, so we got to do extra stuff. But I'm not gonna fault a guy if I feel like he can do it and I'm not teaching it right. So, but again, it comes down to performance. Guys are going to get plenty of reps, and this isn't a participation medal deal. This is, we're going to line up and we're going to play, and may the best man win. And you got to be on special teams too. If you can't be on special teams, you can't be a number 1 or number 2 running back. We talk about that as a whole football team. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. If you're not going to class, you're late and always on the accountability list, that will drop you as well, because then I'm not going to reward you on the football field if you're not doing everything. You're a student athlete, not just a football player.
So